Good evening and welcome to the January 11th, 2024. One more year, Town Center and Library Committee. Gosh, we've been saying that for many different years.
2018,
Um,
2019,
so it
whatever.
doesn't look like we have any public comment. Any additions or deletions?
I can give you feedback on what the fire department said about the
Yeah, so
22nd.
that would be good. I've actually explored a couple of grants since our last meeting.
Oh.
And we can talk about that. Okay, bond vote, note discussion at the the select board. I think I'm gonna take blame for this. One of the things that I hate about bond votes is that the way the bond bank structures the repayments is it's a fixed principal cost and declining interest rate. So you start out high and you end low,
Right.
about half over a 30-year bond. And when the money is most valuable is upfront, and least valuable at the end. I've never liked that. I've always liked, what my experience is with my mortgage is that it was really hard to pay it at the beginning and then it got easier over time.
Right.
It's the same amount more or less every year.
Right.
So the terminology is bond is that declining interest payment, and note is more the conventional type mortgage loan with a more or less even payment over the term. We had two different options on the note. It's 20-year or 30-year. Not gonna remember these exactly, right? The 30-year was like 589, something like that. And the 20-year was about 725. And the bond starts
That is what? What is that number?
725,000
1,000
per year.
Okay.
And
Or
the bond
589.
starts at 750.
Right.
Okay, so there are options here, so you can, if you do the 700, the note at for 20 years, it's close to the same as the first year of the bond payment, but it's that same payment
But it
every year.
equalizes the payments over the 20
It
years.
does. It equalizes it
Okay.
over 20 years and it saves about $2 million worth of interest.
How does, sorry, I'll let you finish before I start asking questions.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If with the 30-year note, the first year payment is about 589, something like that.
Yeah,
And it continues
for 30.
for 30 years.
Yeah,
And that's more expensive. Yeah, this is what it is.
Let me share the screen now, so that if anybody does watch. There it is. So this is the 30-year bond.
You just do the
Where did
comparison.
you want to go to?
Just
Oh,
do
the
the
comparison.
comparison one up there. That's basically what I'm saying. So, the bond interest rate over the same term is less.
yeah.
But if you were to do the loan structure over a shorter period of time, you pay less interest.
Yep.
So I don't think this is, I wanted to bring you up to date on this. I think this is something we're going to need to explain to the voters, but I don't think it's our decision. It's going to be the select board decision. The way that where it looks like we're landing with the language is to say borrow the money over 30 years in some fashion.
So
And
you're
leave the
either
decision
going
up
for a
to
note or a
the
bond.
select board, maybe in the future, so like we don't have to borrow this, the day after town meeting,
Right.
right? We could wait a year and a half even, and start paying out of reserve funds, some of the earlier upfront costs. Then we wouldn't need to borrow 9.8 million, presumably.
Wait to see if we get a
And-
grant.
And what the projections are right now is that interest rates are gonna go down.
Right.
Over the course of
Right.
the next year, who knows, but that's a possibility.
Yeah.
So I think where the select board is heading is to provide as much flexibility as possible to future select boards to make that decision in the future. Which I think could save us the most amount of money.
So my question is, can you refinance bonds or notes?
I don't know about a note. With the bond bank, it's told me is that they keep it for 8 years. And then after 8 years, they automatically look for a better deal
Oh,
for all of their notes. And they will refinance at that time if it's advantageous and just do it and
They
pass
go
on the
up?
savings. They won't go up. They'll never go up. But if it comes
they can
down,
get a better deal.
they can get a better deal, they'll just do it. I don't know about the notes. The notes don't necessarily need to be from the bond bank. I think these are based on notes from the bond bank. But we could, shop around and see if any of the banks are competitive or not and see what those, again,
So,
it's
okay.
flexibility.
so what I think the voters need to know before the vote is, what is it gonna cost me in increased taxes?
Yeah.
And is there a difference between the note and the bond?
No,
So it would be the same in the first year.
unless we take the 30-year note, and then it would be different.
Well, that's my problem with this whole thing, is that I think that voters can't be told one thing and then when it shows up on their tax bill, it's something else.
I think the best that we can say with the language that we'll have in the warning is what we're authorizing the select board to do is borrow money. It's this up to this amount of money.
But if
No.
we can't tell taxpayers what it's gonna cost them, they're gonna vote no.
I would agree with Lori.
So I think we can explain the differences between the different options, but I think the select board is going to want to have the
So
flexibility.
how much is the difference? Do we
Uh,
know how much it would
well,
cost?
it-
I
Yep.
think if you look at, so I think the two to compare, like the 30-year note seems a bit unreasonable.
Mhm.
I don't know that's one that has the most interest, right?
Yeah.
30-year note.
So
So
you
we
can spend-
probably won't want to do that. So if you look at the 30-year bond, which is this one, it starts out at about $95 per $100,000 in value and then decreases. And if we go to the 20-year note, it starts out at about $92 and stays for.
I think that's all we
yeah.
need to
So we
tell
say
them.
That's what
roughly
people-
It's gonna be
95.
between 92 and $95 per
Yes.
100,000.
And then if it decreases,
Okay.
if we go bond, it decreases, and that's,
And we
Open
could
promissory
easily
note.
say, there's two ways we could finance this, but the rate's not gonna be higher than this.
well,
I just
careful
think,
saying not higher, because based on current interest rates, that's where it would be.
Okay.
Obviously, when we
But-
take the
but
loan, we'll finalize
at the
everything.
moment, the estimate is it would be this much
Excellent, yes.
per 100,000. Or it would be this much or this much estimated,
Yep.
depending on how we finance it.
it is tricky though, because
Yeah.
these numbers decrease over, some of them decrease
One
over
of them
time.
decrease
some
over time.
Don't,
Yep.
and so
Yeah.
that gets pretty nuanced.
But the decrease over time, if you go back to the 30-year bond, it doesn't decrease very quickly. I mean, by the time you
But
get
it's
to
dramatic.
33, it's $10 per 100,000. That's 40, if you have a $400,000 house, it's $40.
And then it drops quicker after that.
Yeah.
So, I think what
Uh-huh.
I agree that we do need to explain this. I don't think we need to explain it yet. For one, the select board hasn't landed on this.
Right, but I think by the time that voting starts on February 5th, we need to be able to give people some kind of an idea of what we're talking about.
Yes, I agree. And I think this year voting is going to be different than it has been over the last few years. For one, we're going to have some interesting items on the warning to discuss.
Uh-huh.
One is about 10 different nonprofits.
Oh, I know, I heard that, yeah.
Whether or not we want to spend property tax money on nonprofits. What's the other one that we just came up with? The other article in the warning?
Oh, the advisory article, which might be added,
Yeah,
or Browns Court.
yeah. So the other one would be potentially an article on Brown's Court of whether or not we should be considering housing, which will
Yeah.
draw a lot of people to town meeting. and it might discourage them from voting early. You know, so, you know,
Yeah, I just think, yeah, in fairness, they can't, if they're gonna be asked to vote and not know how it's gonna impact them, they're gonna vote no.
Mhm.
So I think people just need to know. And it's on there now at 96.
Yeah.
I think on the pages that we've
it's 95.
been putting out, it says in the packet, I think it says
That's the
90,
worst case scenario.
96. So, and even if we could say that, you know, the most that would be estimated is $96 per hundred.
The other variable that, you know, I really think the select board would
Huh?
like some
Well,
flexibility.
I mean, if interest rates spike tomorrow
I
and
don't
stay
think so.
high,
Based on interest rates at this time, the
Right.
most would be
I think we
96
see
Yeah, yeah.
for your first
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, our estimate,
Yeah.
given
The one
today's,
bank always says,
Yeah.
yeah.
but okay, so that's good.
But I do agree with Lori that I think we have to give for transparency and people have to have a sense of how is this going to impact me,
Sure.
even though we're, you know, we can say this is just an estimate. This is what we are anticipating based on these factors. But I think we do have to break it down for
What
people.
I like about it,
Yeah.
you know, our frequently asked questions is, we say the worst case scenario,
Mhm, Yep.
Yeah.
you know, so we haven't been.
The
we haven't
most,
been-
the most
Yep.
it's gonna, I mean, we have 7.5% inflation and 15%
Right.
contingency in there.
Right.
Should we, you know, surprise, not quite have to spend that?
That would be
then,
great. you know,
Yeah,
I
it would
mean,
be perfect, but yeah,
And so
know.
that's the other variable. The other variable would be that we don't necessarily need to borrow this much money. You know, I mean, in hope, you know, we
Right.
can incorporate the efficiency
we're
Vermont.
still looking at grants, we're still looking at, yeah,
So that's where we're at.
okay,
I think we have to land on this on Tuesday, right?
no, because the way that the lawyer has worded the question, it can be a bond or a note decided at a later date by the select board.
But the select board has to decide on Tuesday what the warning is gonna say.
Yeah, but that bond vote, the warning
the warning doesn't,
ballot item is
Doesn't-
already decided on
Yeah.
for this. So it will, so if it passes, then in the future, the select board, when they borrow the money, can decide on bond or no.
I think what we say, I think what the warning says is to borrow up to 9.8 million, whatever, for up to 30 years
Up to 30 years with either bond or no.
with either bond or note.
okay,
So
okay,
it provides as
that's
much. flex-
fine,
So I do think that, you know, one of our, you know, later in our agenda, we're gonna talk about what future things that we need to do for outreach.
yeah,
One of them, I think, is the front porch forum thing. And I think we should have a front porch forum thing that just talks about the, you know, money.
yeah,
So that'll be a popular one.
yeah. You would be prepared for lots of
Yeah,
feedback.
Get ready to start typing.
Okay, yeah. All right,
Okay.
thank you, Jeff.
Okay,
Hey, my 2 cents on it, folks,
Sure.
is I totally agree that we need to let people know what the financial impact is. I don't think we need to get into the bond versus note unless asked. And
Yeah.
right? Is that what we're
Yeah.
saying?
well, I don't know what we're saying. You know, I think it would be, I don't think we need to do it this week. I think we can, you know, we can, what does Bard like to say? Let it season a little bit in our minds of how we might word
Yeah.
this. And in fact, it'd probably be helpful if somebody just drafted, you know, how should we answer this? You know, think about the ways of how we answer this.
Yeah.
yeah,
I just find that a lot of times really to Dave's point, this
Yeah.
stuff is somewhat complicated
yeah,
and it's hard to say. You want to give people information, but you don't want to mislead them.
right,
So, and you don't want to say something that's so general that it's meaningless. So threading that line between, you know, what can you say that's meaningful, but isn't so
Right.
specific that it is
Yeah.
really inaccurate
yeah,
is not easy. So I don't know exactly what we say. I mean, I like this kind of like up to sort of idea.
up to or at today's interest rates.
Exactly, because interest rates vary, and in the end, the select board's going to cut the best deal that we can for up to that amount, which would affect your taxes as much as 96 per 100,000.
Right,
Say something
Yeah,
like that with some contingencies and, you
So
know.
would anybody volunteer to write a paragraph trying to summarize this for our next meeting to discuss?
Sure. I can take a stab at it, and then it could be, we can add it to the FAQ at some point, you know, if somebody's, you know, not something that we're gonna, you know, go address in a talk, but it's there.
No. It
in
can
the
be on the bottom. Right now, we have that on the bottom of that finance
Yeah.
page. It just says property tax impact 96,000 per hundred. And we just, and right now it says payments would decrease over the life of the 30-year
Yeah.
bond, which we need to change.
Yeah.
But that's basically two sentences, you know, a number and a sentence defining what the number is.
I think the most efficient way for us to discuss this would be, if you're willing to do that, Dave, that would be really handy.
Yeah,
And then we can discuss that language at our next meeting.
at a one, yeah.
Is he
Okay.
allowed to email that to me and I can review it?
You can email it to all of us as long as we do not reply. We do not reply all.
We can reply to Dave
We
if
can
we
reply
have
to Dave, but we
suggestions.
can't reply all.
Yeah.
Is that my understanding?
Yeah, I think that's,
Yeah, that is true.
we're sort of editing a document
Yeah.
outside of it. I think as long as we're not all collaborating, I think,
It's not a Google Doc where everybody is doing their
I
edit.
think it's a little bit in the gray area, but I think you're close enough to.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, so, you know, I think what we can do is, you know, if you come up with something, Dave, you know, a paragraph or two and send it to us all before the next meeting,
Yep.
that's time to think about it and, you know, and then we can discuss.
I would say shorter is better.
I don't think it's a paragraph.
I don't think it's a
couple
paragraph.
sentences.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It's fine.
It's a number and a definition about what the number means.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can do that.
That's great, Dave. Thank you.
One sentence and then like four more of the
If
exclusion.
if somebody wants to get into the weeds with us, we have
Have them
those.
read them,
charts,
read them. Right.
and Man, you know, we could overwhelm them with information.
Yep, that's certainly true. Okay, the Friday food affair was great. Boy, was
We
it good
talked to
food
a
too.
lot of
It was
people.
really, it was one of the better Friday food affairs. I thought the food was excellent.
Yeah,
And we talked to,
we handed out maybe 20 or 25 packets.
Great.
And so some people just took the packet of information and said, I'm gonna take it home and read it. We talked to people.
Yep.
There was only that one guy at one table who kind of went, when I said, you know, we kind of went around the tables and said, you know, before you leave, come, you know, stop by our table and we can tell you about this. Many people said, I didn't know this was on the ballot.
so this is, you know,
Of course.
we were doing our job, you know.
That's
Yeah.
why we do this.
You
Yeah.
know, I think the affect that, you know, at least I'm trying to project is, here are the facts.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we know about the building. This is what we know how much it will cost to fix
Yeah.
what we know about the building.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's up to you to make a decision. You
Yeah.
know, and we can answer any questions that you have.
Yeah.
And for the most part, people really appreciated that.
Yeah.
That approach, and they asked good questions. You know, I got a lot of positive feedback, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, there were some people who said, you know, boy, it's a lot of money. You know, I'm on a fixed income,
We all said
you
that
know.
too.
Yeah, we all said that too.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's like, yeah, nobody like came up and yelled at us or anything, so. The one guy at the table, when I said, come and look at this, he said, spending money again, or some under his breath comment that was like, you know, that's the way it is. It's probably the guy who wants to just eliminate the library because it's too much money.
Oh, really?
On one of our surveys, his response was, I don't think the town should be paying for a library.
We're probably not
Like-
gonna win that vote.
No, no,
You know, my guess is we won't get 100%.
no, oh, no,
Um,
it's fine.
it was actually fun.
It was
And
fun.
Does anybody else want to do it next time around?
Yes, because I don't, yeah.
I can go. I just might not be able to be there right at 5. I can
Okay.
I
That's
can
fine.
probably get there by 5 or 5:45.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
The people didn't really show up until about 5:45.
And people kind of ate first and a
Ate.
lot of them wandered over
Yeah.
after they were done eating. And Marshall made a little announcement during the announcements, go see the people at the table,
It was
you
very
know,
helpful.
for us. So
great.
more people came after that.
It was a lot. They had maybe
They had a
100,
lot of people.
150.
I have pictures.
Huh?
I took a picture.
What was the food? Was it Italian food?
It was taco.
Oh,
I think it's Italian
Taco
coming up.
burrito
I
night.
think
It
that-
was Italian, when I went.
They did
It's,
lasagna. The first one was lasagna. I don't think they had a theme for the
I don't
next
have a
one.
theme for the next one.
Yeah.
Chinese New Year is the
Mhm.
19th of February.
We can think
Yeah.
about whether we need to do that or not. But,
Anyway, yeah, it was good.
okay, well, that would be great, Lenny,
Sure.
if you could do that. I'll plan on doing that, and I'll set
Okay.
up. We'll have to coordinate for the,
I have the thing in my car,
Okay.
like right now, if you want to take it.
I could do that.
The trifold display is in my car.
It's really quite good, and I think our presentation is good, there's something to look at, and, these things are good,
Yep,
they might not be perfect for everything we got, but it's more worst case scenario than anything else.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So, to me, it's working really well.
Mhm.
So we have upcoming events. Oh, I forgot to bring the
Yeah,
schedule.
I have the list.
Yeah.
somewhere. So the
I think that's
14th,
okay.
14th is the,
So, we're doing a tour this Sunday with the,
Yeah.
Yeah,
senior
yeah.
center and,
hopefully they put it in their thing, and Judy, I also sent it to Judy Bush, because remember she wanted to put it out to the Radiate folks. So, yeah,
so
I cannot be there, but
so
would like to.
I'll plan on doing that. Does anybody
Okay.
else want to come on that?
This is this Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday, it says 2 to 3. It might take a little bit longer than that, but
Yeah.
it would start at 2. And the way we would, I thought we would do is just start here and then work our way down and say goodbye out in the parking lot.
mhm,
So the Zoom's not going to be terrifically useful. I think what I'll do is I'll
Right.
explain that that's what I'm doing
Yeah.
and maybe
mhm,
even share the opportunity so people can
mhm.
figure
Yeah.
out how to do that.
Yeah.
And they can always watch, maybe also mention they can watch
Yeah.
the YouTube from the previous one.
And
But
it
yes.
it was, a couple people, we kind of suggested a couple people wrote that Sunday tour in their calendars
Okay.
at the Friday Food Affair.
Good.
And you got
Um,
keys from Linda?
Not yet, I'll do it.
You-
tomorrow.
okay.
And,
great.
2 to 3.
yeah,
I will try to make that.
Okay.
Maybe we can reconnect. I just need to check in with
Sure.
family stuff just to see if that's doable, but
mhm,
it should be.
mhm, mhm.
You said family, that's the magic word. I actually just scheduled something for Sunday afternoon. I'll have to talk to my wife.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
and then, yeah,
and then after that, the next event is the Friday Food Affair,
Yeah.
next Friday, a week from tomorrow.
Yep.
We scheduled the 22nd on Monday, to do
primarily the,
a tour and presentation primarily for the fire department, and they have opted out.
yes, in a not very good way.
Yeah, well, which is
Rich said,
exactly why I wanted to
Rich
do
said-
a tour.
Luckily, there were only about 6 voters at the meeting
Uh,
because
They were not
our
happy.
lovely fire chief and assistant chief just said, we're not voting for it. It's too much money. That's what they told them.
Well, so.
And
what I-
then he said, and then Dennis said, besides, the whole building's in the floodplain. I don't think they can even rebuild it. And Rich was there and said, I'm sorry, but that is not correct. Only a small corner of the building is in the floodplain.
why
It's
I
like,
need to deal
you
with
don't even want to find out about,
Yeah.
that frustrates me when somebody just doesn't even want to know, especially
I'll think-
somebody who's in a position of authority
Yeah.
in the town.
What I'll try to do, so I invited
Yeah.
them personally, both Dennis and Jerry, and for the fire department and offered a special tour. And when they couldn't do it, they didn't want to do it on the 22nd because that's one of their,
They don't want to
Standard
give up a
training.
training day.
right? So I wrote back and offered that, we can schedule it for a different time if you'd like.
Wow.
So we'll see. I'll push him on that, because
Rich did put up this list on their bulletin board at the fire station. So I at least kind of said, do this.
because
Yeah,
I think one of the
I
strongest,
get frustrated. And then Dennis says, if they'd done this 30 years ago, then I would have voted for it.
we actually did do it. Hopefully, yeah.
It's like, it's totally meaningless because
Yeah.
Did we do it 30 years ago? I thought you were on that committee.
anyway, I get very frustrated when I hear that.
30
and
years
it's
to put
like,
it on the
you
ballot.
know,
We'll just do it every 30 years is all.
Yeah, there you go.
Almost, yeah.
So I'll continue to, offer, one of the things that we talked about, and, this is later on the agenda, but we can talk about it now, is, we talked about trying to invite all town committee.
And
Right.
yeah, so
February
that was the
1st, that was
February
the,
1st one.
yeah, the
February-
Yeah,
point of the
we talked- so
February
I'll send them
1st.
all an email on Tuesday morning. That'll
Okay.
give them 2.5 weeks to
Yeah.
kind of focus in.
Well,
And I have an agenda for that with a Zoom link too, if they want to, however they want to, but in person's better for this, but I'll
And,
I'll
and
encourage
they,
them to do
and they
it.
could, yeah, all the chairs can invite their committee.
I
Yeah.
got emails for every committee member.
Okay,
That'd be great.
I'll do 100 and
Okay.
some odd wide net.
Right.
yeah, I asked Rich if there was like a group email to all the firemen that we could just include them in that.
Hmm.
And there isn't. Every time they make an email, they put together their own group every time they do a group email, because, it's Dennis. And I'm surprised Sherry hasn't done one, actually.
Which strikes me as someone who would, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
She might also be like, that's his thing.
Yeah, I know.
Could see
Yeah.
that too.
So that would make sense. So that would be one of our scheduled meetings, right? It's February 1st.
Yep, we talked about
Because
that, was sort of the
because that
committee
was-
one. It's an off. so
Yeah,
we-
there was a weird fifth week or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, it
yeah,
was a weird
typically it's
week.
a little quieter that week.
Okay.
Cochran's.
So
Oh.
feels like we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
We got a big gap between the first and,
Well, we've got 2 more Friday food affairs in February that we could do, since it was pretty easy and it's a short time period.
it's a lot of the same people. who
That's
go.
what
Yeah,
I was gonna
that's,
say, does it,
yeah.
yeah, does it tend to be the same people
I don't know.
attend?
Oh, another place that I thought of, so I'm jumping around. here.
Yeah,
So
that's
this is
fine.
Later on the agenda, but, well, that's it. No, that's it.
There.
It fits.
There.
Another place that I thought of was Cochran's.
Hmm.
That's a different crowd and it'd be mostly local. And
Yeah.
probably
And it's
really
young
different.
family, probably more family type people.
I don't know what day of the week would. be
Probably
good.
their Friday
Friday.
nights,
That's what I was-
Friday night ski,
Friday night lights.
family ski races and.
Okay, so, maybe, I don't think we need to set that yet. Or maybe we can, I don't know.
I think that's a good slot in there,
In
February,
February.
early
Early.
second
You
week
don't
of
want to do
February.
February vacation week, because that's too,
Right,
we can't,
well,
that's too
we're already
late.
doing something that
And
week.
that's too late, because that's right before the vote.
So we've got the 9th and the 16th.
Yeah,
Do we have any preference, one or the other?
I think reach out to Cochran's and
Yeah,
see.
see.
I can do
Because
that,
As
actually.
long as they don't have any, I mean, I don't know what else they have going on, or,
So assign that to me,
right.
because I know the one of the managers there.
Okay.
She's,
So
Patty
Jeff,
Neves.
yeah. Yep.
Okay, and I think that would be,
Are we still gonna do this? The 22nd is now out there on posters. Are we still gonna do that?
yeah, what do we
I
do?
think
what do
we
do
have
about
to,
it? I think we
I think we have
should.
to be here, and then if nobody shows up, we leave.
Yeah,
I mean, I could come down around
I'll be
7.
available for that too. And I
Okay,
think,
so
If you put-
Josh,
If you put out your invitation,
January 22nd.
January 22nd.
Okay.
for the committees, no, but I can inform them of that one too. They want to meet that night,
and so which one, the February 1st was going to be for the committees, right?
correct.
Yeah,
But I can give them the entire.
Yeah.
I'll give them the
Yeah.
entire agenda, all
Right,
of the things, and
right.
say we picked February first, knowing that's sort of an off week for committees, so please
But if
come.
you're
And if you're
available,
available for any of these others,
yeah,
yeah, it might be good, I mean, to split them up a little bit too,
Yeah.
if we get a lot of interest.
Yep.
So yeah, I can remind them of everything.
Okay,
I don't know if she did it. I left one of the flyers for Linda to put up in the bulletin board
it is,
downstairs.
it is.
Okay.
Okay,
Left it in her mailbox.
Is there one on the library?
Yeah.
I put one in the post office.
Okay.
Actually, and I put them on the tables. I
Okay.
doubt that they stayed
Yeah, I
there.
put it up in the library.
It occurs to me that probably should do that in Jonesville too, the Jonesville post office.
Hmm,
Oh, yeah.
good, yeah.
Are they open now? They had a week when they
Not
were
very
closed
often.
because
Good to
the
flood it.
person was out sick.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Denise was not happy about that either.
Yeah, I bet she goes there, she lives right there.
She
right?
does, yeah.
Hmm. Well, when you got a
You
one
know.
person show that's out open 4 hours a day sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So Josh, you and Jeff are gonna do the first, and
Yeah.
I might come to that one too.
Okay,
And I could stop by on the 22nd at 7 and just see, or if Josh
well,
wants to.
I'll do that too.
I mean, I think, if nobody shows up, that's fine.
Okay.
But it's out there now, enough
Yeah.
places. I don't think we can not be here.
no, people don't know that it was for the firefighters,
No,
so some people
no.
might have put that on their
No,
list and they're already coming.
yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Times Inc. What's the deadline? Do I know?
Oh, I may have jumped the gun, but I talked to Heidi Rock today
Okay,
and she said, and asked her, I wrote her earlier this week. You want an article? It seems like this would be important. And then I didn't hear back from her, so I called her today. I said, you want anything? She said, oh, yeah. They don't really have a reporter who can write it up. And I said, how about I just send you all the stuff we've got? I mean, you could
she could take it right off the flyer and
either the flyer
or
or
the FA.
the FAQ, or I sent, I
Yeah.
don't know if I sent the flyer.
I'll
I'll
see,
do-
I'll see her on Sunday.
Okay.
I can just help.
or
I can
I'll
talk
send
to
her. I think-
Send her stuff and I'll see her on Sunday.
Okay, and I sent her the report that we did to the town report. I sent her a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, the town report thing might be perfect, actually.
That might just work
Yeah.
for that. And I sent them a bunch of pictures and
Yeah,
they like images, and so,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, and actually what I asked her is, so this might be a big enough story that you could do it in the January and February paper. And she thought that would be good.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, the February one might be the more like, this is a bond vote in Richmond. The other one is informational and yeah,
and we might boil it down some, or,
yeah,
and again, they like pictures, so they might not be able
Yeah.
to put all the pictures in the first one.
Yep. Okay. yes.
And MMCTV, we thought about, but we did the tour. I don't know what else we need to do with MMCTV.
No.
right?
I think
Yeah.
the tour's online, so people can watch the tour.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
any other ideas? On how we get the word out?
I thought about Duncan's business email
Yeah,
list, just the businesses in town.
yeah.
Some of them live in town, some don't, but
Well, we also have a larger list. I mean, we have a couple of lists. Linda has a list that she uses to get out to people. We've also got another list that we sort of built over time for like roads are closed. So we could use all those lists, really.
And just do the flyer?
the same information with all the dates.
Yeah, I think like whatever, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be great.
I can put
Nobody's
that-
gonna
And I
accuse us
still
of trying
need
to
to
sneak
talk
this
to-
in.
Yeah.
I still need to talk to Rebecca, or now it's Wendy, about
use the-
display space in the library.
Yeah.
There's a front porch forum post that you've been using, right?
What did you-
The front porch forum post, you've a post on front porch forum, right? I can just,
I posted today, I posted last. week.
I'll grab that copy because that's probably just keep it consistent.
Okay.
That's fine.
Perfect.
Um,
I'll make that happen.
Mhm.
and we did talk about front porch forum post, regular front porch
Mhm.
forum post. I just put in the same one as last week that did all this.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if maybe we take a question or two from the frequently asked questions list, and
yeah,
then
varying
it
it.
might be
a
more
bit.
powerful if not just me, if
Yeah.
others did that. What do
Yeah.
folks think about that?
Oh, I think it's good.
You know, so,
I was looking at the FAQs actually.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just take one or two questions on the
Each of
FAQ.
us could like do a different week or something
Yeah.
and
Do at least one a week and by different.
like, I thought, why is this renovation project needed now? There's a post right there.
Yeah.
You know,
Why not build new? That's a part,
that's, you know,
you know?
I don't want to bring that up because I think that's gone away so much. I don't know.
I had a
you're-
conversation 2 days ago
Oh,
with
yeah.
someone.
Pete, still,
Ah.
Pete Goslin is still on the building.
No, but it was somebody who from the beginning has said, let's build new.
Yeah.
But I gave that person the,
Well, that was Dennis was just build a little building for the town clerk behind the library and be done with it. That was another comment he made.
You'd have to cut down that apple tree.
Well,
what about the
We'd have to
the
cut down
dozen
the-
staff,
well,
the
the-
5 police officers?
the problem is we're already over
Radiate.
the lot coverage for zoning on the library parcel as it is, or close to the maximum. So, yeah,
Yeah,
anyway,
that would
it's
be
just
tough.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's,
I would be happy to just post the why is this renovation project needed now,
Yeah.
like this week.
So I think that would be great. And you know, what I was thinking that would be good is to have, you know, a post a week. You know,
Yeah.
maybe the post that I've been putting in about where you can get more information, but some factual posts.
Mhm.
And I think we have the language now, you know.
Yeah, we
Um,
should always just put that piece on the bottom that says to find more information, the link to the
yeah, and then-
the website, just because they can get all the documents there, plus the tour.
It'd be nice to have a consistent preamble too, just so that everyone,
Yeah, yeah.
it was like we were
Hmm.
triggering
Yeah.
them to continue
Yeah.
to
Well,
remember what we're talking about.
And it might just be, you know, there's going to be a March vote on this,
Exactly.
you know,
Well,
that's
so-
the preamble.
One of the comments from last week that I got by email is I put in, you know, what we're about and where we're going, but I didn't put in the money, or at least it wasn't upfront. And then we're going to be voting on it, so I did write a paragraph on that. So, you know, I think the first 2 paragraphs and, you know, 1 or 2 paragraphs in the post that I put in today,
Okay.
it works pretty well as a preamble. You know, this is what we're going to be voting on. This is the charge for the committee, you know, and here's a question that we have received, you know,
Mhm.
something like that. And
Yeah.
here's where you can find more
Yeah.
information, you know, maybe
I
Sam.
mean,
So would you be willing to do the first one? Laura?
sure, I can do that one.
Okay,
I'm happy to do one too, as long as I feel clear on exactly what it is that, especially the preamble portion.
Yeah,
why don't we get one out and then see how we feel about that and
Okay.
and maybe you
Yeah.
can do the energy efficiency one.
I know, I was gonna say that would make total
And
sense.
maybe, you know, I think that what would go with that is why we're not including solar. You know, what
Yeah.
we're doing to prepare for solar, but why it's
Yeah.
not included. Because people have asked me that as well. Well, you know, why wouldn't you be doing solar? And I really think that we'll be able to do it. We're just not gonna borrow the money for it through the bond.
And Lori, to your point about the, why aren't we building new question, maybe we hold that until there's a lot of chatter on front porch forum about why aren't
Yeah.
we building new?
Then if we need to do that, we can
Respond to
do it,
questions.
yeah.
Because just because I've heard it from, it's the same person for years. So you're right.
I
In the,
know.
in the general community, they may not be thinking that.
Yeah, and we have a pretty good, you know, rationale. It's gonna be more
Absolutely, yeah.
expensive.
But I hear you, like, we don't
But
necessarily need
You
to
don't
like,
wanna,
throw
don't
that out
pick
there,
out the
list of
most
questions.
controversial thing to promote.
well, yeah, and if there's no questions on it,
No,
then
Yeah.
people aren't thinking about it and you don't need
Yeah.
to stir the pot.
yeah,
So maybe, you know, if Lori, if you could take the first one.
Jake might do the
Take
second
the
one.
second one.
I know.
Third
We
one.
want to meet again this month. So ordinarily we.
would
Well, that was
normally-
the slot that we had was the next one, I think, if it was 2 weeks from now, is
The
the
25th.
presentation is gonna be a tour.
That's the 22nd, right? No.
Yeah, and that's-
Yeah,
So we don't have one on the 25th. Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right. It
The
would be the first. We could meet the 25th if we wanted to. That would be sort of off cycle with the select board meeting agenda, but if we needed to meet again to kind of touch base and strategize.
Are people available?
Can we leave that open? And if we decide we don't need it, we
Yeah,
can
we
just
can
cancel
always,
it?
yeah, we can always communicate.
If there was not enough to,
We are allowed to communicate about scheduling
yeah.
in a group email. So,
Okay,
let me
so
see what the
TCB.
calendar looks like before I
Okay.
say that, but I think
Okay.
it's probably pretty.
Yeah, the
open.
22nd is a Monday.
Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
25th is what I meant. I-
no,
Yeah.
you're right.
Second.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe this.
The 25th
highlights the
is
plan
a
is
tour, right? Or is it
Yeah.
tour on
You
the
know,
20?
that.
No?
No.
Okay.
We did it on the
No,
first.
We did it on a Monday.
So you're gonna
Okay.
do your post.
Well, we did a
did
tour,
one
we did a tour on the
today,
first.
so
Right.
you did one.
The 22nd, which is a Monday.
Okay.
February
Right.
first,
Jake
which
does
is our
energy
regular meeting, because that's
efficiency
Thursday.
the week
before the
Okay.
select
second.
board, But that's what we
You
did a
do.
tour on.
Got it.
Look at the calendar here, doesn't
That would
have
be
anything
great
on it for the
because
twenty-fifth,
voting.
so I
opens
think
on
we
the
could
5th.
probably.
should
do
probably.
You want me to do
Because
the
we won't
flood
have a
one?
meeting on the
Or
first, so
highlight?
that will
Okay.
basically
I'm just
mean
gonna
that
probably.
today,
I would just
after
copy
today,
that,
we don't
yeah.
have a meeting until
Oh,
after
Amy.
people are already
Yep.
voting.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna
it might
do
be good
highlights
to,
of the renovation.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I think right now, the only
Just-
agenda item I can think of for the meeting on the 25th would be, you know, to review what's worked and as far as
Any
outreach and
questions?
any
Yeah.
questions and
yeah,
maybe
Sure.
choose which ones of the questions on the.
Okay, so what Amy and I just said is, you just did one for this week. I'll do the why needed now on the 15th. Jake, you could do it the week of the 22nd. Amy would do the highlights of the proposed plan the next week, the 29th, because that's right before and each of them with your two paragraph
Yeah.
opener,
yeah.
because that's right before the voting starts on the
Yeah.
5th of February.
Yeah, we still have.
And then we have all of February to do more, but that would get 3 different posts out there,
That would
you
be
know,
great.
in 3 weeks,
And then that would run us into the 25th meeting, and we could
Yeah.
see where we want to go
Yeah.
after that.
right?
That sounds
And
great.
because by then, if we're getting specific questions.
Yeah.
Then we might want to craft,
So far, I haven't received any, you know,
Yeah.
I had one response about, you know, make sure you tell people that we're voting on. Well,
yeah,
Actually, it was
that's,
respectful email. Yeah.
that was the most
Yeah,
frequent
that
response.
was a
I
good
didn't know we're
point.
voting about
You know,
it.
we haven't actually said that.
Says,
I
have you
thought that
heard
was
about the
good.
town renovation plan? Do you know we're voting? One guy walked over and said, I haven't heard about the town renovation plan.
That's good.
Good.
That's why we're here.
Yeah,
So I would probably be able to post on the 20th. I'm gonna be in Chicago most of that week, but I'll be back for that. So.
or we could.
If you want to
it
switch, I can
around.
do the week of the 22nd, then you can do energy efficiency the
It's okay.
following week.
I can
Okay.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
okay.
Okay.
Live from Chicago. Energy efficiency.
And if you want, I can work with you on it. If you feel comfortable doing it, that's okay too. Okay, I think that brings us through the outreach
Yeah,
ideas
it
we have
does.
for right now.
yep, library.
Library, so
We are on the schedule for the summer. He's gonna start the woodworking project part in May and the
Okay.
painter is scheduled for September 1st.
great,
Awesome.
September 1st. Cool.
Yep,
That's excellent.
and we'll have to close the front entrance of the library for some amount
Oh,
of time
good.
while he's painting around it. But Wendy and I were strategizing. We have 2 other entrances to the library
Yeah.
Is that
building,
because of lead or,
because he'll be above them in the lift truck.
oh,
And he doesn't want people going in and out.
Mhm.
So it may only be a day or 2 days. It might not be a long extended period. And in COVID, we learned that we can deliver people's books out to their car.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
You know.
That's true too.
And did we talk about the tree? Don't they?
Oh, yeah, we have to trim back. He wants to trim back the tree.
Which is
The trees, the 2 maple trees next to the stairs. The tree warden
Stairs.
already told us that we can't take them down.
2 maple trees, so by Bridge Street.
No, on the parking lot side, on the parking lot
Oh, okay.
entrance to the library.
oh,
Because
those stairs.
it's too close to the building and he can't get the lift truck in in between to
You
paint.
said that we couldn't take them down?
We were told by the tree warden, this was it was probably 7 years ago.
You got a new
Well-
tree order, it's Caitlin, isn't it?
Do
It
we
is
need to
Caitlin.
do anything with her?
Why do we
It's-
want to take down trees? Do we need to?
We needed to,
Branches.
they were, those tree roots are underneath those stairs.
Oh,
And when the guy replaced the stairs, he said, you know, these stairs are just gonna get broken up again by those tree roots.
hmm.
And it's not gonna stop unless you take the trees out.
If we
And
do
the
all the,
painter told us that whole side of the building stays wet when it rains because it's shaded from the sun. So.
So does the back side or north side of the building because of all the trees there
I
too.
know.
I
And the-
suspect, you know,
Yeah.
when,
So all he wants to do is be able to trim on the side by the
I
building.
think if you can trim without hurting the trees, that should be fine.
Yeah.
If you wanted to take them down, we'd have to, I mean,
No,
really,
we're not taking
okay.
them down.
I
now.
think trimming it back, I mean, maybe we should consult with Caitlin, since she's the expert in the tree
It's gonna
warden.
become an
to
issue
make
when, if
sure.
the bond passes and they want to put the back and forth, because those trees come out if they put the new
I
handicap.
suspect we'll have at least one meeting about the landscape.
Oh, more than one.
Yeah, you can remove a tree, you just, I think you're technically supposed to have a tree hearing to talk about it, to cut down a public, unless it's diseased or dying.
Yeah,
If it's not, then yes, there's actually statute about having a hearing. to
it got
cut down a public-
so complicated
shade
that we
tree.
gave up.
Yeah.
And they are beautiful trees, I will give you that, but they just were planted in the wrong place.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the apple trees make a big mess.
Oh, that, yeah.
Trees do tend to grow.
Oh, the crab apple in the front needs to go away.
Well, we're not.
We're not going there to, let's not
I
go
know.
there
All
tonight.
right. All right, so
Another
anyway,
time.
so that's the plan. I'm just waiting
Great.
for Jay to give me his contract addendum
Yep.
for his
Great.
management fee for managing the project.
Perfect.
And then we're gonna schedule a meeting in February with all of the players,
Awesome.
you and Jay and Alex and myself and Rebecca. To
Got it.
just like go through the schedule and, you know, yeah, what needs to be blocked off when and all that.
Sounds perfect.
I want to acknowledge that Dave said that he could
yeah.
probably come to the Friday Food Affair.
Oh, good.
Great.
Okay,
Okay, we're moving right along.
yeah,
Speaking
approval of
meeting,
minutes,
the minutes look great to me, once again.
yeah.
I'll move, we approve the minutes of 12/14/23.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any comment or changes? Okay,
No.
hearing none, state your name and your vote.
Jake, I.
Amy, I.
Lori, I,
Josh, I.
Dave, hi.
okay,
Okay,
other business,
is there any other business? Oh,
your
the
grants,
grants. So there are two grant opportunities. And
uh-huh.
there's been a lot of things going on this week for me, and I'm not gonna remember all of it. I forwarded one of them to you.
Sustainable Energy for Schools and Municipalities
The Clean
Program.
Energy Development Fund grant. The maximum is up to $250,000. They have a total of $1 million, so
Not
I'll be
much.
giving out very many.
The minimum is
The-
25,000.
The minimum is 25. I would go for, the 250. And
Yeah.
I would, what I would suggest is doing it for the heating system, which is a hybrid heat pump heating
Yes.
system that could be a demonstration
Your,
project.
your project has to be completed by 9/1/25. September 1st, 25.
Yeah,
But if they allow you to buy the equipment and store it, even if it's not been installed, it's probably,
What were the source of
There.
those funds?
the Clean Energy Development Fund,
Or where did they, because they're
There.
always,
they got
Funding.
ARPA funds as well. They, this is a program that's been around for 20 years anyways. It
Yeah.
originally
yeah, it
was.
doesn't say anything.
Yankee
I only printed
insurance
the
money.
first couple.
oh,
pages.
this is not that money anymore at this
They're right.
point. I work with them pretty
Funds are
closely. That
federal-
money's gone.
Funds are federal funds from the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy, an office within the United States Department of Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Federal money.
which means it's that, all that Davis Bacon
There's a
stuff, but
20
that should be
yeah.
probably okay for us.
That won't be,
There's a 20% match.
yeah, we can do 100% match.
Yeah.
thing. And we can offer that, because, I talked to, or I wrote to Andrew today, and he said, you know, his recollection is that line item is something like $500,000 or $600,000.
Yeah.
So, you know,
The
we can do
20% match is easy.
Because
Yeah.
at seed, yeah.
Yeah. You have to either do Buy America or get a waiver. That might be a challenge to Buy America.
Well, I mean, there's no harm in applying,
No, I know.
and
Well, it
One
says,
manufacturer of these hybrids.
it says you can get a waiver, but you
Yeah.
have to apply for a waiver if
This
you're
would be
not gonna
different.
buy an American
this is often
project.
used for advanced wood heating.
Mm,
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
schools as well as municipalities.
Yeah.
Advanced wood heating doesn't actually work well for municipalities because they don't often have on-site
Right.
maintenance staff.
Right.
So I doubt that there'll be, but ordinary heat pumps are eligible as well.
Yeah,
so-
it says, yeah, solar, cold climate heat pumps, advanced wood fueled heating, those are the projects that are,
So one idea that I had is that we still have some time left from Diane Meyerhoff.
mhm,
We've got 15 hours of her time.
mhm.
I didn't look this over carefully, but I'm assuming there's going to be like narrative language about what the project is and
Yeah, I opened the whole thing, but I didn't look at the application. I opened just the
so I thought maybe
RFP.
we could throw Diane at it and say, you know, knock yourself out
We'll have to give her the numbers, but she could do the text part of it.
and, you know, and, you know, I thought maybe Jake and I could fill in any technical pieces about, you know,
Yeah,
how wonderful this system will be and
Yeah.
such a good example for other,
I mean, if we got 250,000,
that
that's
would be great.
significant. I mean, I don't know whether, they did say that they look for projects in underserved
Yeah.
communities, so,
It's interesting that this is a significant challenge for Richmond.
Richmond.
The good news is that we're not energy burdened,
right,
right?
right.
You know,
And we're
that-
not a low income, not considered to be a low income community, even though many of us feel like we are.
Yeah, it seems to me though that there's, you know, they put these things out there. They say this is what we're really ideally looking for. But at the end of the day, you need to have projects to give the
Right.
money to.
Right.
And it's hard. I give money away for a living. It's harder than you'd think, right?
Yeah.
Like to actually find people that meet all the criteria down the line. And you can try to be picky, and we always do too. We say yes, but Efficient
Yeah.
Vermont is always trying to target, if possible, underserved areas, but you know, you still got to move a certain amount of money in a certain period of time. And
Right,
I don't think that CEDF would turn down a really good
yeah,
application.
because like the
We could use it
proposal,
also for the municipal energy resilience program as well. This language is, you know,
I think
Right.
that they're going to be in the same
and,
position.
They're gonna do
and
the
the
same thing.
FEMA, yeah. March 1st is the deadlines, and,
yeah, so it's the February project.
yeah,
And everybody gets these huge chunks of money. They're real picky at first, right? Until they start to realize that things keep
they
falling
have a
through, and it's hard to
deadline for it to
give
get
away
in.
money
Yeah.
when you have all
We're
these strings
still
attached.
waiting on the library's applications, which they told me December they would have the applications out. If
Yeah.
they wait long enough, we'll be in good shape because
There we go.
they'll have to give somebody the money within the next 9 months.
You know, I've thought for a long time, this municipal energy resilience program, which I've been discouraged from
Yeah.
applying for, it has to be obligated by the end of 2024. And the really good thing that we have going for us is we are, by definition, if the bond passes, or the note or whatever it is, it passes, we are shovel ready.
Mhm.
You know, and I think that's going to be compelling after March. They're going to start going,
It doesn't
gotta
have
give
to
it
be
away.
spent, it just has to be committed.
has to be obligated. you
Yeah.
know, So that we can do that. And it might be harder for a lot of these other things.
Mhm.
I
So,
mean, think about how long it took us to get to where we're at,
Really,
right?
exactly.
And this is with a really diligent, like relentless committee working on it.
really, you know, with a lot of resources, you know,
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
it is a lot harder when you don't have, you know, this kind of, commitment.
Yeah, I think asking Diane to do that would be great.
Okay.
Because then any other energy grant that comes up will probably
We'll
have.
just use that language.
Language.
So,
Yeah.
I'll contact her.
Okay,
And I can give an update on Tuesday to the select board that we are applying.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
Just so they know. This is not gonna be one of those one where we have to get approval after the fact.
um,
do they have to approve applying?
technically they do, yeah. When's the application due?
March 1st, so we got.
Oh, we got time.
You
Yeah,
got
we can put it on the first one in February, and you could do, I mean, we don't have it on the agenda for Tuesday, but you could do a public comment if you wanted
Yeah.
to, and then we'll come back,
Let them know. Yeah.
come back in February with the final approval. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. And then there was another cool grant that I thought
Uh-oh.
would be good for the,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Do you remember what I sent you?
Yeah, I have it. I saved it off because
I thought it was
to
perfect.
cover
for
the
my-
pavilion, and it's the public spaces one, and it's geared to doing a public, like fundraiser to match. But they have all the language and everything. It's kind of really cool.
I thought that might be good for Martha and I.
Yeah, yeah, let me look at
So
it.
it was, my recollection, it was a 2-to-1 match, so
Yeah,
if we committed $20,000, we could get an extra 40.
Hmm.
You know, which was about what we estimated for the cost of the
right.
pavilion. You know, it's all moot if the vote doesn't pass, but
No, then we'll build it behind the library.
there you go. That would work too, actually.
That's what we had been talking about before all this happened, was doing something behind the library. I thought I had it right here, but I don't.
But, you know, I think, so would it be okay that, so, I forget even where this grant was from. I could probably find it in my email.
Oh,
What did I send to you?
when did you send, do you remember when you,
It was either earlier this week or last week. So, maybe Lori, we can send it to, Martha and just have a conversation about it. We did think about the, Northern Borders Regional Commission, and we're not eligible for that.
No.
It's a Better Places grant.
that's the one, thank you, Better Places.
Yeah, I sent it to you on the 3rd.
On what?
Third.
So I'm thinking, you know, no harm in trying. It is specifically,
Oh, there it is.
what they want to do is they want to motivate some public fundraising. So this is
Yeah.
pretty much exactly what Martha and I talked about doing.
And that would be, and it would be pretty easy because it's a really specific thing. You know,
So if it's okay, I think we can forward this to, would you do
I'll
that?
forward that to Martha, yeah,
That'd be great.
I can talk to her about it.
You know, and again, you know, it's all
Okay.
pending positive vote.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the only other business I had. Did you have any other?
Oh, nope.
No, okay. And we have the items for the next agenda, I think it's just
Outreach.
outreach.
That would be the 25th, right?
It would be
Yeah.
25th.
So just review where we're at, basically.
Okay. So we're right on time. Do you have anything else, Dave?
Nope. Thank you all.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
from the road. And,
Yeah.
I'll look forward to seeing you at the Friday Food Affair.
Sounds good.
Yeah.